Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into something absolutely critical for your retirement planning. When you're trying to secure your financial future, it is incredibly easy to get tunnel vision. We literally spend hours agonizing over interest rates, payout percentages, specific product names, the whole shebang. But actually, scratch that for a second. The absolute most consequential decision you can make for your retirement isn't which product you buy, it's who you buy it through. Today, we're going to break down exactly why the person you choose completely dictates the options you end up getting.
So let me ask you a question. Are you only seeing half the annuity market? Or, honestly, maybe even less than that? Look, if you're shopping for retirement options right now, you already know how overwhelming it can be. You sit down with a financial professional, they slide this slick, glossy brochure across the desk, and you think, wow, this must be the absolute best solution out there. But here's the thing. There's often a hidden illusion of choice happening. You might feel like you're exploring all your options, but depending on the type of advisor sitting across from you, your view of the market could be severely restricted. To really put the scale of this into perspective, just think about this staggering number. According to leading industry data from LIMRA, total U.S. retail annuity sales reached $464 billion in 2025. That is a massive, record-breaking market. We're talking constant product innovation, thousands of different contracts, and dozens of giant insurance carriers all fighting for your retirement dollars. Navigating a $464 billion market on your own, or worse, with someone who only shows you a tiny little sliver of it? Man, that is just a guaranteed recipe for leaving money and benefits on the table. All right, so this brings us to the ultimate insider secret of the industry: structural independence. What is an independent annuity broker? Well, it's defined as an advisor who maintains appointment agreements with multiple insurance carriers and is completely free from any contractual restrictions telling them they have to recommend one specific company. This structural freedom is an absolute game changer. It's the key to genuine, competitive comparison. It means their allegiance is to your financial outcome, not hitting some corporate parent sales quota. They just aren't captive to one single product shelf.
Think about it like this. Imagine you're training for a marathon, and you need highly specialized running shoes. If you walk into a store that only sells one specific brand, that salesperson is absolutely going to tell you their shoe is the perfect fit, even if it means cramming your size 10 foot into a size 8 generic sneaker. They gotta have to, right? It's the only brand they sell. That's exactly what working with a captive bank agent or single carrier rep is like. Now picture walking into a massive warehouse that holds literally every top-tier running shoe brand in the world. An expert there can measure your foot and find the exact shoe across dozens of brands that actually fits your specific stride. That, right there, is the structural advantage of an independent broker.
When we map this landscape out side by side, the differences are honestly pretty stark. Take carrier access, for example. An independent broker has the keys to the full market. We're talking 10 to over 100 carriers. A captive agent? Exactly one. And a big Wall Street bank? Usually just a very limited pre-approved list. Then, look at rate competition. An independent broker creates an environment where multiple carriers are basically forced to compete for your business, making sure you get the best available rates. But with a captive agent, zero competition. The pricing is simply whatever their one single company decided to offer that day. Captive and bank channels just inherently restrict your options.
Because of those inherent restrictions, you really have to look past the marketing hype. Our source material hits the nail on the head with this quote: "The best independent annuity broker is not the one with the most advertising exposure. It is the one who can access the full competitive marketplace." It's so easy to be swayed by the company that blasts the most commercials during the evening news. But flashy marketing does not equal superior contract mechanics. As a consumer, you've got to shift your focus away from who has the most familiar logo on their brochure and toward who actually has the market access to find the contract that mathematically performs best for you.
So, the most crucial point is this. An expert independent broker doesn't start by just pitching you a product. No way. They put you at the center of the equation and ask this absolutely vital question. What specific job does your money need to do? Like, does it need to provide guaranteed income for your essential living expenses? Do you need to protect a chunk of savings from market crashes while still getting some growth? Or maybe bridge an income gap until you claim Social Security? Mixing up these basic job descriptions is literally how the most costly retirement mistakes happen.
And this philosophy translates perfectly into a super clear 3-step process. First off, an independent broker helps you pinpoint exactly what specific job your money needs to do. Second, because they actually have that structural independence, they take your job description and shop it across the entire competitive marketplace. And third, they align the specific mechanics of a contract to your unique goals and timeline.
It's all about matching your precise needs rather than just pushing a daily sales quota.
If you want to know what the smart money does, well, the data is incredibly clear. When we look at complex annuities, specifically fixed-indexed annuities, where the contract fine print really matters, a massive 74% of all sales flow through independent distribution channels. Only 26% go through captive or single carrier channels. That is some serious social proof right there. The vast majority of these complex transactions go through independent brokers because informed buyers demand real comparison. When a contract has a lot of moving parts, people instinctively know that tying themselves to a single company puts them at a massive disadvantage.
But listen, having access to the market is really only half the battle. True independence means having someone who can translate those complex, jargon-heavy contracts into plain English for your specific situation. You could have contracts from two totally different carriers that are labeled the exact same way on the cover page, but down in the weeds, because of tiny differences in how they calculate fees or withdrawal limits, they can give you dramatically different real-world results. The ultimate value of an independent broker is shifting that mental burden right off your shoulders. They expertly decode all the financial jargon, so your decision is based on absolute clarity.
Which brings us to the experts at Diversified Insurance Brokers. Remember earlier when we were talking about the sheer power of market access? Well, Diversified maintains active contracts with over 100 highly rated insurance carriers. That is huge. When they sit down to evaluate what your money needs to do, they aren't just staring at one single company's dusty shelf. They are leveraging the weight of over 100 different carriers to force a fiercely competitive environment on your behalf.
That expansive access creates what we call the diversified broker difference. They've been family-owned and fiercely independent since 1980. Think about that. They've navigated decades of crazy market cycles and regulatory changes, so they know exactly how to guide you today. Having those 100-plus carriers means they have a catalog of over 1,000 distinct products to evaluate for you. Their extensive field experience means they understand exactly where Carrier A is mechanically stronger than Carrier B. They are truly unbiased experts whose sole function is aligning the absolute best contract in the entire marketplace to your exact needs. They serve as the ultimate guide to navigating that massive $464 billion market.
So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Think about the conversations you've had lately about your retirement savings. Is your current advisor actually showing you the whole picture, or are they just showing you the only brand of shoes they happen to have in the back room? If you aren't working with an independent annuity broker, you are systematically restricting your own choices in a market where choice is literally everything. Take the time to evaluate your shopping strategy, demand full market access, and ensure your retirement is built on genuine comparison, not captive limitations. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep asking the right questions.